Konnichiwa, minasan. I'm Machayu, and this is Manga You May Have Missed. For the most part, we've been covering specific genres of manga: fantasy, science fiction, comedy, and a slight bit of romance and slice of life. This is because I've been doing manga that I have previously read and enjoyed, and this is what my taste tends to fall into. The problem with this approach is that by doing this, I neglect genres that I have less interest in: historical fiction, horror, and the most oxymoronic sounding concept, sports. To rectify this, and due to the fact that this is episode 21, we will today be looking at Eyeshield 21, the sports manga about American football. Eyeshield 21 is the creation of writer Riichiro Inagaki and illustrator Yusuke Murata. It was serialized in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump from July 2002 to June 2009. Its 333 chapters were collected in 37 tankobon volumes. Masayoshi Nishida directed a 145-episode anime co-produced by TV Tokyo, Nihana Ad Systems, and Studio Gallop. Viz Media released the manga in North America, and the anime was licensed by Sentai Filmworks and distributed on DVD by Section 23 Films. It was also streamed in English on Crunchyroll. As of 2009, Eyeshield 21 has sold over 20 million copies, and the anime is credited with raising the popularity of American football in Japan. American football! The battle is won with power! Tactics! And also, speed! Narrative captions describe the sport as we follow a boy with legs of lightning as he grinds to a halt in front of a school. Our title page names the first chapter, or rather the first down, as The Man with the Golden Legs, and shows off our four main characters. The golden-legged man enters the schoolyard looking for his entrance exam scores. We learn that his name is Seina as he is flagged down by a tall girl. She asks him what his test number is. It's 21! How droll. He assumes he's failed, but the girl doesn't let him leave and instead searches the board for his number. It's on the list, of course, and the two celebrate. Seina says that he should be happy that he's now a 10th grader, and the girl remarks that although his scores in math and English were horrible, he was her best tutoring subject. But he's already a high school student. Seina remembers back to grade school when the girl, Mamori, would look out for him, but is interrupted when the girl elbows him in the side, saying he's lucky to be in the same school as his beautiful childhood friend. Does anyone else smell that? It smells like love interest in here. How strange. Rather than feel the love tonight, Mamori remembers something she has to do and leaves for the admissions office, leaving Seina behind. He's being watched by the best character in the series, a psychotic Super Saiyan elf who claims that Seina is a candidate. Seina wonders why Mamori was crying, and then hears a sound from off-panel. The sound is the psychotic elf, followed by a rather round football player. The elf is also wearing a jersey. They grab Seina and toss him into the air, to his delight. The elf then hands Seina a phone and tells him to call his parents. Seina questions it for a second, but is relieved to have found a kind upperclassman in the school, not noticing the demonic grin for some reason. The elf snatches the phone out of Seina's hand before his mother picks up and dashes away, followed by the round kid. They now have his telephone number, and the elf promptly uses several phones to charge several services to Seina's house, thus gaining his address. Some people just do terrible things. The elf tells the round guy to prep for the next one, and we see them performing the same shakedown. Seina and Mamori split after walking partway home, and Seina finds a bunch of flyers for something called the Christmas Bowl in his mailbox. He gets inside the house and the phone rings. The person on the other end starts enumerating the wonders of American football in a similar manner to the beginning of the chapter, and Seina slowly starts to have a nervous breakdown. We can blame the flyer-laden shadows running across the street. Sometime later, Seina is prepping for his first day of school. Pity his uniform doesn't quite fit. He also remembers to grab his new cell phone, which he got after the fiasco at the admission boards. It's so adult-like! Though as of yet, he only has Mamori in his phone. He then heads to school. He meets up with Mamori, who fixes the tie of his now fitting uniform. She says that this year, she wants him to mix with the right people. He protests that he already has friends, but Mamori says that the guys that make him work as a gopher aren't his friends. She spies a lively gathering and encourages Seina to go make friends. However, there is one person he must avoid. A devilish human being named Hiruma. They say that when you look into his eyes, you'll be reduced to nothing but bones. Seina decides that this is important and checks to make sure he got the kid's name right. He doesn't notice the upperclassmen that jump half a foot when he speaks the name. They freak the frack out and flee in terror, one claiming that his life is in danger. After the school day, Seina is looking for a club to join. His main criterion is what Mamori would say. His phone goes off and he gets a text saying that he needs to pay a bet. He complains that he's not a kid anymore, and goes to pay the piper. 3 delinquents are waiting for him out back. They ask if he brought what they told him to get. Judging by his reaction, he did not. Judging by their reactions, this is unacceptable. They give Seina 5 minutes to get the stuff, and he runs off. Why does this always happen to him, he thinks, as he runs back and forth through the halls at a breakneck pace, scaring other students out of their wits. Unfortunately, they were all out of MacGuffins at the store. The delinquents prepare to give him his penalty, seeing as the school store should have MacGuffins, but they realize they're not in a good spot for it. They point out a small, worn-down shed and enter it as Sena pleads for his life. The shed is full of football paraphernalia, and Sena realizes that this must be the American football team's club room. They toss Sena to the ground and start playing around with the gear when they are interrupted by the round guy. The round guy is shocked to see them there, but immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion. The delinquents do not, in fact, want to join the club, and one of them tries to knock out the round guy, who is a football player. The round guy figures they want to do the tryouts now, and explains to them the correct hand position for blocking as a lineman. He then demonstrates, tossing all three out the door. This was unintentional, but he is unable to convince them to stay. The round guy is dejected until he notices Sena dumbfounded in the corner. I swear, this is the happiest face I've ever seen. He sits Sena down at a table and offers some tea or coffee, but Sena tells him that he's not actually interested in joining the team. I swear this is the scariest disappointed face I've ever seen. Sena remarks that the kid is taking it a little too hard. They wind up having tea anyway, and Sena thinks over joining the club. He decides it's not for him, as he can't even play dodgeball competently. This leaves the team with only 2 members, with tryouts coming up. Sena asks if you can't play rugby with only 2 people. You can't, and the round guy corrects him to say that it's American football. You need 11 people at least to play at all, and if the team doesn't have enough members, the club dies in the next sports meet. The round guy shows Sena a clip from last year's game to show him that it's fun. It succeeds in showing him that football is terrifying, as 2 guys were knocked out cold, but it was only their first loss. At the rate they're going, he says, they'll never make it to the Christmas Bowl, which is the finals, played once a year at Christmas. The final game is played at Tokyo Stadium, with replays shown on the big screen. It's the ultimate battlefield for war. Sena begins to be drawn in by the round guy's enthusiasm. He notices a poster on the wall that says the team needs a manager. He asks what that job entails. The team manager scouts and analyzes the opponent's plays, sets up games with other schools, and, well, manages the team. Sena suddenly pictures himself doing that and being congratulated on his skills by the team and Mamori. He remembers her saying that he should find something to do for himself, and asks if he can be the team manager. The round guy celebrates and they continue talking. Later, Sena is consulting his phone as he walks home, having added the contact information of the round guy, whom I can finally start calling by his name, Ryokan Kurita. He suddenly runs into the fist of one of the delinquents from earlier. They've been waiting for him. The leader tells Sena that the gopher needs to be taught a lesson, and that he shouldn't run away like last time. Sena loses any spine he might have had up to this point, and one of the other delinquents asks if a baseball bat is really necessary. The leader says it's not ideal, considering the already existent police record, but if they do find a reason to use it, they'll just say that Kurita attacked them with it, thereby putting an end to the American Football Club. Sena recalls the optimism with which Kurita views the team's chances and decides to make a stand. He tells the delinquents that he's done cooperating with them, no matter how much shit they beat out of him. They ponder this for a second and decide to take him up on the offer, already consigned to finding a new gopher. One of them grabs Sena's cell phone and notes Mamori's name. They contemplate leaving Mamori a message, at which point Sena grabs the phone and takes off like a bullet. One of the delinquents goes to head him off at the train station. Sena turns a corner and runs into a busy street. At that point, the psychotic elf comes out of a store and notices him. Sena ponders his route and hears the delinquents coming. He looks at the 2 names in his contact list and makes up his mind. He notes the route between the people as the delinquents catch up to him. Sena is fast, I can only say it so many ways. His speed stuns the delinquents and the elf as he moves effortlessly through the crowd. The delinquents cannot follow, and the elf, who is the other member of the 2-person football team, realizes that Sena is exactly who the team was looking for. The delinquent who split off from the other 2 positions himself between Sena and the train station, and Sena practically dances around him in what the elf calls a spin move. The delinquents have trouble getting through the turnstile, but Sena is running late for his train. The elf is watching from afar and is coaching Sena from out of earshot. As the doors close, he yells for Sena to dive, and the kid makes it through the door in the same way that a runner makes it into the end zone. He apologizes to the train-goers for the stylish entrance as the delinquents follow him down the stairs. The one in the back turns his ankle, and all 3 tumble down the stairs as a PSA saying not to run in the station is played over the intercom. The elf walks over to the heap of limbs and plants his ass on top of the leader's head. I might as well say now that this is the aforementioned Yoichi Hiruma. The next day, both Kurita and Hiruma excitedly tell the other about the great new recruit they found. Hiruma has arranged a meeting, which translates to Sena hog-tied in the clubroom and dodging bullets from the assault rifle Hiruma somehow has. Elsewhere in the school, Mamori checks Sena's locker and sees that his outdoor shoes are still there, indicating he hasn't left. She wonders if he's joined a club, and resigns herself to not walking home with him anymore. Meanwhile, Hiruma has dressed Sena in a football uniform, complete with an Eyeshield and the number 21. Kurita says he looks cool, and Hiruma says that if he plays while dressed like that, his hidden talents will rise up. Sena is confused as he intended to be the team manager, but then Hiruma reloads the rifle. He says that during the game, he will not be Sena Kobayakawa, but will instead be called Eyeshield 21! And he can also be the manager if he wants to. We end with what Hiruma did to the delinquents when they were unconscious. The end. My first impression of the anime is that it's pretty great. The first episode is the first chapter. There's a little shuffling of minor details. Mamoru interrupts Hiruma's shakedown of Seina, and the delinquents that bother Seina in high school aren't the same ones that terrorized him since grade school. The background music is fun to listen to, and only adds to the already expressive animation. The dub sucks. There's heavy censorship, so heavy that the first episode is actually the first 2 episodes compressed into one. It cuts out the entire opening scene showing Seina finding out that he's passed the entrance exam, including Hiruma and Kurita's shakedown, subsequent football team spam. In fact, Hiruma's name isn't even mentioned in the parts of the episode that were taken from the real episode 1, the first 10 of 21 minutes. The dub voice actors are passable, but that's about all I can say in its favor. It has a new, bland soundtrack complete with an English opening theme that features a vocalist that I swear is stoned out of his skull. Unless you absolutely have to watch it in English, I say give the dub a miss. I must admit, going into Eyeshield 21, I didn't expect myself to enjoy it. I've dabbled in reading some sports manga before, and nothing really grabbed my interest, probably due to my lack of interest in actual sports. What sold me on Eyeshield 21 was Hiruma. He's like Kamina from Gurren Lagann, except instead of leading by inspiring people to strive to be the best they can be, Hiruma rules through terror and blackmail. I love the character. I find that having good characters can make it a lot easier to get into something you usually avoid. As such, I have to recommend Eyeshield 21, no matter what you prefer reading.
Imagine